What's going on, y'all? This is our very first video that we decided to do together. Now, we've recorded a bunch of videos, but recently we have been new parents for the past about 12 months, y'all. It's
what day
literally
is it?
running up
We have
on the
9
12.
more days until it's been
I can't believe we have almost a
365 days.
1-year-old. But we'll get to
My
that.
girl.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
But leading up to her birthday, we started thinking, man, it's probably like the best idea to come up with this little mini series, at least just something we can look back on for ourselves. Basically,
share with her too.
yeah, like what impacted us and what things stood out to us for her first year. I mean, shout out to us for keeping her alive, right? Like, shout out to us for keeping her alive. So, one of the things that we will get to is sleeping schedule, because as you can see, we're here, we're live, we're in the office, we're chilling.
What time is it? 8:43.
Baby girl is sound asleep in her crib. Now, there's a lot of controversial thoughts on that, but we're just going to get to scheduling today. So, scheduling.
So scheduling.
I was scheduling, figuring out that we needed to commit to some type of scheduling. How did that help us?
Shout out to our friends who were first-time parents.
Shout out to our friends.
It wasn't necessarily gifts, certain gifts all the time that were like game changers. Sometimes it just was simply like advice, right? Or books. One of our friends got a book on sleep training, and I wasn't ready yet to just start doing the sleep training. I wasn't ready for that part, so I just wanted to like...
She really wasn't ready for it. She was making every excuse to keep the baby sleeping with us.
Which was in the glider. We were sleeping in a glider
slept on
for
our chest.
3 months.
Like
we
this,
just switched. That's it.
If she moved, we moved. It was...
Yeah. And then it just, So as I'm listening to the book, then I made a decision. I just started taking that direction. I started just planning, right? And one of the things that they said to do was like the baby had to be like on a schedule, like eating every 4 hours. So I was just like, okay, well, I think right now she's at every 3 hours. Like she had already reached her weight. So that was fine. And it was something else that she had to reach, but she had gotten to that milestone. So she was eating every 3 hours, and then remember we started stretching it to every 4 hours. So maybe one day instead of doing 3 hours, we did 3 hours and 15 minutes, then 3 hours and 30 minutes until we got to 4 hours in between meals.
And then added to that, part of it was sleep training method. Eating was a part of the first part. Of course, the sleep training part was the other part. This was very hard in the beginning as new parents, and I'm sure it's hard for everyone in the beginning. What the book told us to do, the audiobook, right? Like she forcefully made me listen to this audiobook. I'm not a big audiobook person, but it was good. I don't think I even finished the book, but I think we got to a part. Yeah, we got to a certain part together, and then we were just like, we got it. Like, so essentially the sleep part was the most important part of the book for me, because it allowed us time to figure out how we're going to get this child off of our chest and into a crib. Before that time, we were putting her in a crib, we were checking to see she's breathing, she's good, but then she would get up right away. like not feel us, get up right away, cry, this isn't working. Sometimes we would just try to let her cry, it wouldn't work. With this book, it was telling us to create a designated bedtime for your child at the same time each night. The time, I think 8 o'clock was like going to be her like bedtime.
Yeah.
So we were going to start cutting things off, figuring out how to navigate through her sleep window. We would make sure that going with the 4 hours of eating, she couldn't eat after 4 p.m. because we had to get to 8 p.m. 8 p.m. would be her eating window, and that would be what she would eat before she would go to bed. That gave us some structure. Now, the hard part was if you get her down, you rocked her to sleep, you put her down, and then she looks back up at you. And then you're like, and the book says, like, you have to leave. Like, you gotta leave. You're gonna cry. We left. And I think you were the first one that did it. Came over to the office in here. You felt all types of bad.
So bad, I know.
Terrible and all of that. Heard her cry. Essentially, putting her down and walking away was the method. So we would put her down, we'll walk away. It was very hard first time. Then there's like certain time limits. Like you let her sit for 3 minutes. Let her cry it out for 3 minutes. The second she starts crying, we would sit there with a timer on our phone, try to figure out, man.
Start walking to the room at 2 minutes and 30
2
seconds.
2 minutes and 30 seconds. Like, all right, okay.
5 seconds.
And then when you walk away, she looks at you with such betrayal, and you feel terrible. But what happened was, I think that first night, she didn't make it past like a half-hour mark or anything like that. I think we got to
19 minutes.
Yeah, we got through the first 10 minutes.
It was 18 minutes because it was 3 minutes,
Uh-huh.
5 minutes, and we didn't even make it to the 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Like right when
we were
10
getting
minutes
to the
came,
10
I was
minutes.
gonna go and check on her, but then she went to sleep.
She went to sleep. We would do that often. So that was one thing that helped us with sleep, right? Going back to the schedule, it helped us figure out this is what we need to do to add to the schedule to make ourselves feel better. Now, the reason we did it was because we saw our friends. We were hanging out with our friends one night and we were at their house. Normally, try to leave anyone's house by like 7 o'clock to try to get home to do bedtime, to be strict on it. They have a 2-year-old and they put their 2-year-old to bed upstairs. Like we were hanging out. We're just quietly putting Arya to sleep,
We're like,
trying to
"She's
calm
doing good."
her. She's distracted by everything going on. We're just trying to get her down and go to sleep. And they went upstairs. They put their son to bed. And then it came back downstairs
like all
like,
excited, hands free.
what's up?
And we were looking at each other like,
no, we got to figure this out.
We got to figure this out.
We got to figure this out.
We already luckily had her on the every 4-hour schedule, and she thrived. She did good with that. She was hitting her naps. She was getting her feeding. So that was great. But also that 4-hour window.
Yeah.
The 4-hour window was very important. Like we
Very
knew
important.
the best thing about the schedule was that everybody was on board. That was one of the driving forces also to put her on a schedule, was because that, my mom watched her for 3 days out the week. His mom came and watched her for at least 1 day out the week. That means that there were 2 other people outside of us that was going to be taking care of Arya. So that means that we all needed to be on the same page and to kind of, speak the same language. It was a little difficult sometimes to get some people on board at times, but everybody at the end of it appreciated the schedule. So I knew that no matter where I was and where Arya was, if it was 4 o'clock and spoke to my mom, it's 6 o'clock, I should say. And she's like, yeah, Arya's getting a little fussy. I'm like, yeah, well, maybe, it's time for bed. She's getting sleepy, but we got to keep her up. So how about we do this? And I give her some options. She understood because she knew once we kept her up, she was going to have a good bedtime. So the schedule kept everyone on board.
So the most important part of that was finding a sleep schedule. I think the second most important thing when you're talking about scheduling is being flexible, because what happens is like scheduling changes, especially when you have a baby. Scheduling changes in our regular life. Like when we were just together, like scheduling changes a lot, but it's so much easier when you're dealing with it with just your spouse, like, because it's a simple text message, a move around, to do what you got to do. With another human being, and especially when you have other people that are in the midst of caring for that other human being, those changes happen very fast. Like the second we figured out bedtime routine, I think she slept through the night, I think twice, like maybe ever, right? I'm just gonna, and I'm just being very transparent, maybe twice ever. But I think the first time she slept halfway through the night, we're like, we got this.
She woke up so happy. She was in the crib.
So happy.
She woke up. She wasn't crying.
Just looking
she
around.
She was just playing her
just
crib.
excited.
And I was like, she's not mad at us.
What happens is things change, and that's what we realize what happens with babies. Like the second you figure something out, something changes about them. So like with that schedule, things change. May have been at your mom's house a little longer than expected, or we may have ran into traffic where we didn't get home at 8 o'clock, or whatever the case may be.
Or she took a late nap because we were driving.
She took a super late nap, and then by 8 o'clock she's not tired. So we had to find ways to push the window and push along with her feeding time to make it all make sense. And I think we still do that today. Like
we still do. Well, try not to, and we still sometimes make some rookie mistakes. So the other day we kept her up a little late because we were having company, and we know that when she is overtired, she does not do well. And so she can play the game around everybody, but she was so overtired. It was so hard for her to go to sleep, and it was something that we all paid for
let me tell you, Arya is very much so like her mother. And I'm going to say, I say this in great confidence, right? My wife, in front of a crowd, you will never know that she is tired, exhausted, drunk. You will never know. The second those people go, or it's just us, I'm exhausted. That's basically what happened with Arya.
She knows how to act in public.
She knows how to act around people. But the second these people leave, and the second is just you and her,
she sees us as a safe space.
She's like, you know what? I'm over it.
I'm done.
And I want y'all to know it.
And that's good. We serve as a safe space for her.
So like I said, scheduling changes. So be flexible with it. I feel like flexibility is probably the most important
It's
part
so
of
important.
scheduling, because even now, with my wife working another job, I'm now picking up the baby from daycare, and of course she's not able to do bedtime and stuff like that. So it's not a lot of switching off like we would normally do. Okay, well, your bedtime now is like 7 because we can't do 8 because you have to be up early in the morning. Go to bed earlier. Let's try to get you some solid foods, which is a whole other part of scheduling and
We'll talk about that later.
flexibility. We'll have a whole different video about that. I feel like in scheduling, flexibility is the most important thing you guys or anyone that's first time parents, at least that we're seeing and we're understanding, it's important. Try not to like set yourself up to just have certain boundaries or certain rules, because what's going to happen is these kids are going to come and they're going to knock the rules out the park.
They're going to do whatever they want to do.
Whatever they want.
So you have to adjust. But you also have to, like, when people are just like, oh, well, babies, let them go with their natural sleep cycle. Yes. Sounds good. Why don't you support their natural sleep cycle, but, you know, make them do something that's going to help be a part of the family, that goes with the family. So we chose an 8 to 8 bedtime because 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. worked the best for us at the time. So I think that that's something that's important.
Yeah. This is just the first video. I promise we're going to have a lot more videos kind of covering some of this content, just what's important to us. We're going to talk about like establishing your own rules and boundaries when it comes to whether it's your marriage, or we're understanding that it can happen in your marriage and it can happen when you have kids. There's stages and levels to this. So just make sure that stay tuned in. We're going to have a 5-part series.
I think 5 is enough.
Probably
I could commit
series.
to 5.
We're going to do 5-part series.
Like, it's past my bedtime. It's 9.
I know.
It's 9 o'clock.
It's past the both of our bedtimes, but we are committed to putting out content. So thank you guys for joining us. We will drop some more soon.
V3.
V3.
By ISOV.